Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Woodstock, Georgia, it's time for Cherokee Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to Cherokee Business Radio. Stone Payton here with you this morning. And today's episode is brought to you in part by Alma Coffee, sustainably grown, veteran-owned, and direct trade, which of course means from seed to cup, there are no middlemen. Please go check them out at myalmacoffee.com and go visit their Roastery Cafe at 3448 Holly Springs Parkway in Canton. As for Harry or the brains of the outfit, Leticia, and please tell them that Stone sent you. You guys are in for such a treat this morning. We've got a studio full. First up on Cherokee Business Radio this morning, please join me in welcoming to the broadcast with Family Life Magazine's Mr. Jack Tuszynski. How are you, man?
Good, sir. Good to see you this morning.
Well, I have really been looking forward to this conversation. I see you most Thursday mornings over at Woodstock Business Club. You always have a glint in your eye, a smile on your face. Life must be good. And you must really enjoy your work, man.
I do. I love this community. I grew up in Cherokee County, and I'm married a Cherokee County girl June before last, and I've always loved the community, and we just look forward to giving back to it, learning about people, learning their stories.
Sounds like a Hallmark channel, doesn't it, guys? So tell us, mission, purpose, what are you and your team really out there trying to do for folks, man?
We just want to produce a fun family magazine. We want to give people an idea of what's going on in their community so they can go out there with their families, embrace community, relationships, just build community out there. We want to, help businesses grow because stronger families come from stronger businesses and stronger communities. So it's just one step at a time for us, pebbles to pathways, so to speak.
I like it. So it's magazines. We intentionally, I made sure that I used the plural of that. So you have more than one. Speak to that for a moment, the market you cover.
We do. We did have a magazine. We had 3 back in April, and we had to do some restructuring. So now we have the 2 magazines. So we're concentrating fully on Cherokee County with our Canton and Woodstock publications. Mm-hmm. They're 30,000 in print each month.
Oh, my.
Every issue.
There's slightly fewer than that listening right now, to be candid. I think over time, as Ricardo knows, in our world, when we do digital radio, a lot of it is consumed on demand, right? But so a few, not quite that many live listeners right now. So that's impressive. 30. Wow.
Well, I'm not going to say they're all reading it the first day they get it in the mailbox either. It's a monthly, so it sits around for a little while. Fair enough. So just like you go recording and it stays
But
online.
You're reaching a lot of folks.
Are reaching a lot here. Yes, sir. And it's direct mail. 28,611 of those in Woodstock go straight to homes and businesses, straight to the address.
Sweet.
So
very nice.
It's a lot of fun to get it out there.
I'll bet it is. So what do you find the most rewarding about the work at this point?
Really, it is about getting the message out there. We're a good news magazine. We partner with a lot of organizations within the community, and we're able to spread their word and spread their mission. So it's really just nice to sit back and help people succeed at whatever their mission is basically what our mission is.
So what is the structure of the magazine? You have some stories. There's an opportunity to sponsor or you can run ads, right? Tell us about the structure of the magazine.
Okay, we are advertiser supported.
Okay.
Obviously, thanks to the Postal Service, they keep us on our toes. So we sell the ads. The money we make from the advertising sales, people that we partner with, we call them partners. That goes to produce this publication, which we distribute out through the community.
Yeah, because it lands in my mail. I've been living here since April.
Good.
And love everything about it. As any listener of this series knows, I am just, this is utopia for me. I love being here. I love everything about it. But yeah, we get it in our box.
Great.
Yeah.
Good to hear. And you read it, I hope.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I do.
But yeah, our community calendar, that helps gather people in there. We've got a great staff. I've got Stephanie Bolton, or Tiffany. Tiffany's been with me since the start. We'll be 9 years old this coming July.
Oh, wow.
And
you're probably about to get this thing figured out.
Yeah, eventually.
It's just this thing might work.
So Tiffany Korn, and we got Julie Clifford Singer, or Julie Singer Clifford. Sorry, she's a newlywed as well. She's our editor. She's kind of the brains. She makes my word, puts my words together, makes me come out, like I know what I'm doing. And then my wife Vicki has joined the team as well. She helps with the books and keeps me working.
You guys can't see those of you who are listed on the radio and not seeing the video version of this, but Jack is smiling, almost smirking.
She keeps me on my toes. So.
All right, so if I'm a business, and I am, and I would like to advertise, I want to become one of your partners. What does that process look like? Is it a consultation? Is it fill out a form and check this box and send a check, or somewhere in between?
There is an order to that. Yes. Initially, I like to sit down and speak with people and find out who they want to reach. I like to find out about them, what they do, and if I'm a good fit for them. I've told people on occasion that this is not your advertising medium, and you probably want to look somewhere else. I don't want to sell. I'm trying to think of I'm typically pretty good with these, but I'm on the radio, so I'm on the spot and I can't figure it out.
But if it's not a good fit, you're not going to. And I'm sure people have come over time to really trust that level of integrity.
There's no good deal for bad advertising.
There you go.
I mean,
somebody write that down. That's going to be like that's at the top of the notes for this session.
There's just not a good deal for bad advertising. I think everybody should advertise in one way or another, but it needs to fit you and your medium. Here's one I've seen written down. This is not an original, but having a business without advertising is like blinking in the dark. You're doing it, but nobody else does. So we just want to be a good fit for our clients. Right. And then we'll have the consultation. We'll find out, do they want something quirky and fun? Do they want something kind of stoic and straight on, clean lines and that kind of thing? I'm more of the quirky and fun kind of person. That's why
I never would have guessed. Would you guys, right?
That's why I kind of like, we have some bright colors. We have a good color scheme. My art department gets that feeling across well.
Right.
I've told them in the past, if it's square, curve it, because we kind of want to meet everyone's needs, but then again. We want to get the right message across for the advertisers too. So, we've had some people say, "Oh, I smile too big in that," and it's like, "Well, you're a dentist. You probably should smile in that."
Yeah, really.
So we try to keep it obvious as to how we can best help them. Once those ads are designed, we get advertiser approval on that. Our team lays it out, in the magazines. We don't just kind of throw everything together. We start early in the month. Right now, we are already in October. We're planning the October. Actually, we've been in October for a week now. So my calendar is kind of crazy. It doesn't mean I get my Christmas shopping done early. It means my calendar is kind of crazy. So once our team gets all that laid out, we typically go to print about a week and a half before we're mailed out, because it does take a while to print 60,000 magazines.
I'll bet it does. So without the benefit of your counsel in this consultation kind of phase, what are some of the mistakes or misconceptions that a layperson like me in that field might have? What are there some things that we should just try to avoid, and some traps that somebody like me that doesn't know that much about that advertising, mistakes?
Well, some of the big mistakes people make when they're starting a business is not having an advertising budget. That needs to be a line item in everyone's marketing plan. Is a cohesive advertising campaign planned out. And depending on what you want to do with your business or your service or your organization, you need to have that plan. You need to plan the plan, follow the plan. Plan the work, follow the work.
Right.
And because there are some businesses that will benefit from, just a big cover blast. Bam. It's a cover ad, big spread. There are other businesses that need more of a drip campaign. It could be quarter page ads for a year or half page ads for a year. If you're in the service industry, you may consider a column package, which would allow you to write for the publication as well. Basically, it's like sponsored columns.
Now, see, that I can get my arms wrapped around because I've seen through the benefit of this work the credibility that comes along with like hosting a show. I bet it's very similar if you're writing an article. I bet that's a real credibility builder because people get to see you really do know what you're talking about, at least in this one little area, right?
And they get to read it, and there is power in print.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Okay, I got to know. Let's back up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the backstory, man. How in the world did you land here?
Well, I did grow up in Cherokee County. My first few years, my dad used to take me to school over in Dunwoody, and he dropped me off on his way into work for my grandfather's company. My grandmother would pick me up and take me back to their place, and I would sit around and read magazines because back then there 3 channels on TV. There wasn't much going on.
That's right.
And so I basically spent my afternoons waiting on my dad to get off work, reading Time, Life, and National Geographic magazines.
Oh, wow.
My grandparents traveled a lot, so they took me around a lot of different places, cross-country trips on trains, ski trips, trips to out west, Colorado, and that type of thing. And I just always kind of fell in love with photography and the imagery around that. 14, I got a camera, got on the yearbook staff, got hired off of the yearbook staff by the yearbook company, and was able to build a portfolio. Basically, here's a couple dozen rolls of film, go shoot it. I guess that would be the 80s equivalent of digital. And from there, I went to work for the Tribune, Cherokee Tribune, worked there for 7 years, got into doing community magazine photography. Did a stint with television while we're doing my own photography business, PhotoJack.net on the side. And
gosh, you're a brander too. Did you get PhotoJack? I like it. or did the wife figure that one out?
No, PhotoJack's been around a while.
This is pre-wife? Okay.
Yeah, that was 92, 93 when PhotoJack came about. I'll tell you that story later. And then after the television stint and everything and building photography side and doing the community magazines, it kind of got with digital, got in the slump on the photography end of things because, as you know, when digital really kicked off in 2010, everybody was doing it. And then everybody had a phone in their pocket with a camera on it.
Right.
Yeah. So that kind of phased out. And then really just some alone time with my dog on the couch, trying to get my life put together. Threw it up to God and on a prayer, I said, show me something. Show me something. And a few weeks after that, a few months after that, one thing led to another, and I was able to hire an unemployed magazine staff, and we went to work. And we started publishing what's come to be the largest distributed magazines in Cherokee County.
Now, the process you just described, you really don't take that lightly. You really are kind of fired up about your faith. Your faith is a big part of your life, and I'm operating under the impression that it has a real impact on your business and the way you conduct your business. Is that accurate? And if so, do you mind speaking to that?
Absolutely. Life's not always been a bed of roses. I went to, even though I went to school in Dunwoody, I grew up in a trailer on a farm in Altoona Road in Hickory Flat. We didn't have it easy. We grew our vegetables, and we plucked our chickens, and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
I had Ted Turner's son was in my first and second grade class, and here I am going home to picking beans and cutting okra. But I did enjoy growing up with a simple country boy lifestyle. I had some challenges, in my dumber years, which I think most of us may have run into some issues in our 20s and possibly 30s. Right. And it was faith that kind of turned me around and kind of showed me the light, so to speak, and kind of get my life back together and on the right track. So I suspect your world, your business, the business landscape for you has changed as much for you as it may have for anyone with the advent of all of these digital platforms and digital tools. Is that the case? And if so, a little insight into how you've chosen to adapt to it. Well, we started out the magazines. I mean, we were kind of the weirdos in 2013 and 2014, dropping QR codes on our ads and in our publications and linking videos and things like that. It didn't stick. with what's happened in the past 2 years, people are now, looking back at QRs for a source of information because you have your restaurants with the menus and things like that, all the hands-free.
You ought to see me during COVID when it was at its height, me going into a bar, more likely, or a bar/restaurant, and I have to ask for the menu. I'm like, please, I won't hold you responsible. Just wipe off a menu and bring it to me.
Yeah. My wife had to show me how to read a QR with my phone. I didn't know how to do it. So... yeah, so unfortunately, that's kind of come back into it. Now, we do have digital subscribers to the publication as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little over 6,000 we send out each month.
Wow.
And our digital magazines are linked, the advertiser partner ads, display ads, are linked directly to. So if you tap on their ad on our digital page, it takes you to their website.
Nice.
So we've always wanted to incorporate it. We're doing that more so now. We've got some software in line that does sends our subscriptions out for us because it's easy when you got a couple of dozen and you can just drop them out there,
Right.
But we've put some things in play to kind of help everything work for everybody.
So you've really embraced the good of it and tried to incorporate it into your world, and you've kind of taken a both and approach as opposed to either or.
If you can't beat them, join them. So yeah, we've always gone hand in hand with that. We like the cohesive aspect of digital and print because it works. We've had several of our customers that have dropped out trying to do digital, and then they're like, okay, this works if people are looking for it.
Right.
In print, they're seeing it. They don't have to look for it. They turn a page, there's the ad. So that's how we're engaging people, through just the mental aspect and the psychology of print and reading, something that's not a fleeting pixels on a screen.
Yeah.
And there's no timer within a magazine saying, oh no, you've been looking at the magazine for 4 hours. Like you get, there's a screen timer on your phone. It tells you how bad you've been.
Right.
So just go in that route too.
But there's something to be said too. I think for an integrated approach, there doesn't have to be one specific answer. And if you can blend the two and bring all of that to your clients, now you're in a position to provide genuine return on investment as opposed to
right. Because you want to hit everyone. I mean, some people, younger folks, your 20, 35, 40 crowd, they may lean more toward the convenience of digital because they're out there, they're busting it, they're working it, and they need something that they can, I'm not going to say sit at a traffic light and read, but sit in the parking lot and go over convenience, when they're, at the doctor's office waiting, they've got their phone there, but they also have the opportunity to take a rest from that screen and look at something in print.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that can work together, and that's what we try to do.
Well, clearly not my arena, but my instincts are for Business RadioX, for Cherokee Business Radio. I think I want both. I like the idea of easy access, and there's a crowd that might access the digital version of what I might do with you, but I really like the idea of that red X popping on the page, right? And a picture of people in my studio enjoying themselves. I mean, I think that could work really well together.
Well, inside the magazine, Stone, my number and email is there. If you would like to reach out and get a media guide, and I've got some contracts already printed out, we can talk after the show.
Very nice. Actually, it is that time. I could have this conversation forever because one of the things that I enjoy about this work is we so often have bright, passionate, well-informed folks who have a great deal of domain-specific expertise. And so to have a conversation with someone like you that really understands how to leverage print to produce our, I could have this conversation all day long. However, we do have two other guests, and I'm interested in visiting with them. Before we wrap, please do share with us whatever you think is appropriate in terms of points of contact, email address, website, LinkedIn, whatever works.
Okay. Well, we're Family Life Publications is the company name. Our website is familylifepublications.com. I'm Jack, and my email is jack@familylifepublications.com. You can reach out to me there, or you can give us a call on the phone, 770-213-7095. If I'm not there, Vicki or someone will be there to answer the phone. If not, please leave a message and I'll get back to you.
I believe it. Well, thanks so much for coming in and visiting with us, man.
Yes, sir, Stone. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate
you.
Yes,
sir. Can you hang out with us while we visit with our other guests?
I'd love to. I want to find out about them, too.
All right. Next up on Cherokee Business Radio, we have with us, with Rejoice Maids, Miss Gemma Beylouny. How are you?
I am absolutely perfect.
So did you learn anything in that last segment?
Yes, I love what he said. Always advertise when you're new in business. That is what I learned from the very beginning. Always advertise. And I do.
So your business, Rejoice Maids, I could make a couple of guesses and maybe get close, but let's don't take the gamble. Tell us what you do and why.
Well, I can say I clean houses, but not anymore. I have employees that do clean houses. We are here in Cherokee County. This is our home. We started here over 10 years ago. And what we do is to help not just homeowners, with their single senior citizen, senior living people that needs a lot of help cleaning their homes. We take care of a lot of homes that the homeowners have children like that. So pretty much helping anyone that needs house cleaning.
So why the house cleaning business? You strike me as someone who maybe evaluated several opportunities and then chose this in lieu of something else. What drove you to this business?
Well, it started as just let's say a side hustle, so I can go to school. I was going to Canton, but then I saw the opportunity. I tried different other avenue, but this is the road that is much more something that I can relate. I'm a woman, I'm not going to say just being a woman, but it's closer to me because I take care of my family and I see there's a needs in this community. So I chose this path and I love it. I still love it. I'm very excited each time my team would go to a home that, hey, the homeowner will send us a feedback and say, thank you so much. We really, really love going home to a clean house. We love that we have somebody that when we wake up in the morning, we know they're coming. Let's get up because our home is going to smell good today. I love that.
So when you first started the business, did some things surprise you? Did some things that just hit you that you never expected?
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises. Actually, there's plenty of surprises in this business. I came from the Philippines and not really in the background where we have a maid or over there. When you're rich, you have maids. In-house maids. They don't go home. They take care of you 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Oh my!
Yeah. Even for average middle class. Over here, middle class or even well-off people, they don't have maids unless you're Jeff Bezos, I guess, right? You have your own, or Bill Gates. But no, here there's pretty limited. Even if you're a rich person, I guess, unless you have unlimited amount of money, then you have an in-home housekeeper.
Right.
So here, there's an opportunity because, and also in America, I found out that people love privacy. Privacy. So 2 hours, 4 hours max that's what they want you to hang around their homes to clean their home.
Get
and
in,
they want
get
you
out.
Yeah, most of the people, they want you out.
Oh, that's interesting.
They love their privacy. So yeah, that's one of the things that I learned, and it's really, really, I like it. It's pretty interesting.
So now that you've grown the business to the point that you have, I'm operating under the impression that a big part of your job is to generate really continued good results, but with and through other people, right? Mm-hmm. So the recruiting, the training, the ongoing development, can you talk to that a little bit? How has that been?
It's like a roller coaster ride. Like any other business right now, we are experiencing having not enough employees. Mm-hmm. We're in that stage. But because we've been around a long time, we actually have loyalists. I call them loyalists, my teams that have been around with me since way back 10 years ago. They're still with me. These are the ones that you will see all the time, familiar faces. We have a lot of homes that we serve where the seniors are living and they want familiar people, familiar faces, familiarity. So we have those. But since we're growing, I tell you what, the pandemic really brought us to our 40% business. And then, boom, it went up skyrocketing. Huh. And we need 10, 20 people, 10 days ago. We just can't find them.
I think I struck a chord here, guys. so you've got the business.
Yes.
You need the people.
You know why? Because like Jack said, advertise. It's the power of marketing, power of advertising. I always emphasize it. I'm a small, tiny business, but I always believe in marketing, advertising.
So you learned early on. That's just a discipline. You got to put that in there, just like the light bill.
Absolutely.
That's not one of those things that you do one day when you have enough leftover money.
I never pinch pennies when it comes to advertising.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm always there, top of mind, and I also, you know what? Also, I learned now, over 10 years in business, I get excited when I do creative things for my business. With digital, social media now, heck, I make my own videos. I'm having fun.
Well, I can tell. And you make it fun for everyone around you. So what are if you don't mind, and if we're not prying too closely, what are the near-term plans in the next 12 to 18 months? Are you looking to continue to scale, to grow, if you can fill those posts, if you can fill those positions?
Yes, of course. Yes, absolutely. We would like to have our franchise, another office up north where, they need us. There's a need. There's a lot of, today I want to be a house cleaner. I'll pick up a vacuum. I'll pick up a rag. I'm a house cleaner now. There's a lot of those. You'll pay less money. You pay, but then you realize when something break in your home, they disappear. or the dog got hurt. They're gone. Or they get hurt. You're in trouble because you have to pay for the hospitalization liability.
Oh my
Whereas
gosh.
if you're hiring a professional like us, you're covered.
So you mentioned the word franchise, which makes me think of how important it is or must be in a lot of businesses, and I think yours is one of them, to kind of bottle what you do, to have consistent processes, repeatable processes, and transferable tools, and so that it's so that it can be passed through the organization. Is that true?
Yes. We are building our system. In the very beginning of the business, you don't know anything, right? When you're just starting. And then you learn. I'm still learning. My thing that I learned is build your business as if you're going to sell it tomorrow.
Somebody write that down.
Because you never know.
That's great advice.
I have a friend in the business. Her business went all to $2.5 million, and she died at 56. Boom. She just dead, right? Guess what? Her business, the $2.5 million business, went under the drain.
Ouch.
So always, like I always tell my husband, my poor husband said, I can die tomorrow. Better make sure you got to get something before you announce to the public that Gemma Beylouny is dead. Sell the business.
There's another pro tip.
Right?
Sell first.
Right?
That's funny.
I build a business. I have a system. Dude, sell it.
Oh, my gracious. So you are so enthusiastic, and it's contagious. I mean, you bring a level of energy to the room that's incredible. Where if and when your batteries run low, where do you find your inspiration? How do you recharge?
I have a day where I would just sit all day and watch any show all day. My husband knows this. When I'm in that mood, I will just sit there all day. But then the next day, I have this, I call myself me, myself, and I. I will say, get your ass up. Start it again. So I have this 3-person in my head where I don't need somebody to come to me and talk to me because I have that already. And just by having that, I'm blessed. I thank God every day that I always have this energy, that I always have this fighting mode in my gut. That's different. When you have that in your gut, you don't need anyone. I mean, you need coach, of course, to help you sometimes.
Right.
But then once you have that in your gut, it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 49, and I'm still excited. I have more to offer. I'm just learning. I'm just starting to grow.
Well, you are excited, and you're exciting. So before we wrap, let's get a little real-time consulting here for the benefit of everyone here in the room and for our listeners. Some input, some insight from you. If we're looking at engaging a cleaning service, I think many people may be like me. I don't even know what questions to ask. If they show up and they got a cool looking decal on the side of their car, I'm thinking, okay, I'm sure they could do it. There probably are some things to look for, some questions to ask, some things to make sure are in place when you're thinking about engaging a top-notch cleaning service. Yes?
Sure, yes, of course. First, you got to know their experience, longevity in the community. Because like I said, anyone can pick up a vacuum, can pick up a broom and say, I'm a professional house cleaner. Second, you got to know that they're okay, everybody can say, I have a liability insurance, I'm licensed. That costs you $20. Do you have workers' comp? Most of the people out there, I'm not being mean or bad to anyone. That is something that's going to cost you money. So if you ask them that is something they don't provide, because most advertising will say licensed and bonded, which costs you $20.
Wow.
That's the big difference. When you're a professional house cleaner, you make sure your employees are covered. So when you go to everyone's homes in your community, if anything happened to them inside your home, the homeowner is covered.
Wow. I'm glad I asked. Well, kind of. You're scaring the hell out of me. Okay. Between cleanings, because sometimes it might be every week, but sometimes it might be every couple of weeks or whatever. Are there some do's and don'ts for the homeowner, between just some things that we should do or not do in between cleanings that might help keep everything on track?
Yeah, like for if you're a homeowner that like to keep up with your house, at least every other week. If like the professional house cleaners like us goes to your house every other week, at least in between, pick up things in your floor so that you don't trip, you don't get into an accident. Like we sometimes our kids or my husband take off his socks and just leave it everywhere. Pick it up, you to avoid accident. Or if there's crumb when you have little kids and eating, pick it up so you don't have ants running around your house. Like if you're trying to like make sure that your home is maintained, then have a regular cleaner, professional cleaner that will help you so you can do your other things. It costs you money, but if you count how many times you go to Starbucks, multiply that, as opposed to having someone come in and clean your home for you. It's a big difference.
Well, I know I've become a believer in, when possible, stay in your lane. My time is best spent recruiting people to run studios or hanging out with guys like you and having conversations like this on the air than it would be spent. Now, it does make all the sense in the world to me, though, if your team is coming tomorrow. My wife Holly and I, let's get the dirty clothes off the floor because we don't want your team doing stuff I can do. I can do that,
exactly.
Right? And then they can spend the time staying in their lane.
Absolutely.
Doing what they're doing.
Absolutely. The thing is, a lot of people don't realize that if you make us pick up things for you, then it will give you less time cleaning your home. So like I said, in between before the cleaning arrives, at least pick up things, especially if there's something that's going to embarrass you.
Oh, my gracious. All right. If our listeners, and I'm sure they do after listening to this, would like to reach out and have a conversation with you or someone on your team, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, you can email us, service@Rejoice Maids, or you can call us 678-905-3476. Tammy, Melissa, or Angelica will be happy to chat with you. For any questions about cleaning, I'm Gemma, the house cleaning expert with Rejoice Maids.
I feel like she's answered that question before. Very nicely done. What a breath of fresh air to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. You got to come back sometime. I didn't even ask, and Wimby will cover it in another segment. Any designs, or maybe you already do some commercial work as well, commercial cleaning work as well?
Yes, we do. We do church. I love churches. They're
Okay.
good people.
Well, we talked about Jack's faith. There's your inroad right there.
There you go.
Jack knows people of faith. So you do commercial in churches and that kind of thing. Yes. So don't be a stranger. Come back and keep us updated, okay?
Sure.
Maybe we'll have like a reunion show, right? Just the three of us. We're having a good enough time, right? Okay, so this next gentleman, one of the things that a professional host would do before you ever go on air is make sure that he properly pronounces everyone's last name. I know just enough to know I probably would butcher this last name. It's easy enough on paper, but I would probably say it wrong. So I'll let him do that part. But please join me in welcoming to the show with Purpusly and a lot of other stuff and a lot of other irons in the fire too. Maybe we'll learn about that. Please welcome Ricardo to the broadcast. How you doing, man?
It's good to be here. Thank you. How are you? I'm
doing well. I'm going to give you a chance to practice pronouncing your last name. Go ahead.
Well, so it's funny because people say Berris, right? Because that's the obvious thing to say.
Right.
But my last name actually has an accent I in it, so you say Berris.
Aha.
Because
Berris.
the I changes how you pronounce it. And I have a Spanish background, so you usually roll the R's. You say Berris. Ricardo Berris. So that's usually the exotic part.
Welcome to the show, Ricardo. Berris. All right. That's my best shot at that.
That was good.
Thank you. Okay. So, Purpusly. Yeah. Mission Purpose. Walk us through that, man.
Well, thank you. So Purposely was born at about 3 a.m. on the morning of this probably September 2019, somewhere there. Because we had a problem. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, and so I'm always after business opportunities and after ways to make a difference and after ways to transform people's lives. I believe I am an agent of transformation. And so when I was 20 years old, I started my first business, and I had a problem. And the problem was, I was labeled as a math god. I did very well at math, and people even paid me to do math for them when I was in high school. But my brother had a very opposite problem, and that was he hated the subject. And so that was, for me, a challenge. And, everyone looked to me and say, well, what can we do about it? And I said, well, it's funny enough because he's not the only one with the problem. There are hundreds of other boys and kids that suffer from just struggle with mathematics. And so I said, well, I'm going to do something. So I rented the first floor of a building that I was interning next door to. And, I remember the landlord said, well, kid, do you know what you're actually doing? Because this is real. Like, I just need my lease every month. I said, well, yeah, I'll figure that part out. These people just need some help. I just need a place to help them. And so that was my entryway into the business of transformation. And my brother's married now. He's got his own business, and we were able to help him lower that barrier of challenges he's got. And hundreds of other kids who's now, whether it's professional chef or they have their own business, whatever the case might be. And so that's really how I started my entrepreneurial career. And fast forward into around 2017, I've been traveling around the world and meeting a lot of different businesses. And people who just know my background just knows that because I'm in software development and I also do digital marketing. I'm in business. And so people have always sort of asked me questions specific to those kinds of space. And one of the things I wanted to do as I was traveling, I remember particularly in South America, people would ask, how can you help me? I've got a physical product. How can you help me to broadcast it to the world? And so I wanted to do something about that. So I created this platform for products that were made in the Americas. I call it POTA at the time. So just dedicated for products that were made in the Americas, because a big part of the conversation I'd have with entrepreneurs is that, well, these products that are coming from other parts of the world, they come to the Americas and they're either not as, there's not enough quality on them or whatever the case is. And there's a huge challenge that these small business faces. So I started POTA, and we're kind of working through building just sort of a cultural platform on the web that would appreciate, products that came from different parts of the region. And so just went through testing it and realizing that people cared more about what impact and the purpose behind a product than they were where it came from. And so even if a product came from China or it came from Brazil, they cared more about, what does this product do for a local family, or what does this product do for the environment in which it came from? How is it giving back? And we see those statistics sort of started climbing, about 10 or so years ago. People were just very interested in ensuring that they're spending their dollar towards something that's impactful. And so I decided to stop the platform and started looking at how could we incorporate this, because this is really meaningful. It was something that we wanted to do, but it wasn't a priority. And so I got up at 3 a.m. in the morning and was thinking, and Purpusly was the thing that came to my mind. So Purpusly. So I went on the internet, was looking for Purpusly. That's always the first thing you do. Right. You got an idea, you go look for it. And so I couldn't find it, and I said, well, okay, there's the shot. And so I spelled Purposely incorrectly on purpose. And so Purposely is Purpusly. And so I was able to take that. That was the name that was available. Like no one else in the world used that name. Right. But purposely, like, everyone spells it the common way the dictionary has it. And so hopefully we'll probably get Purposely in the dictionary sometime in the future. But that's how it really got started.
All right, so walk us through this kind of, if I or my cousin or someone has a product or service that has the kind of impact that is consistent with what you're describing, walk us through the process. Do we petition to be part of your platform? Walk us through that. So
what's Purposely? So Purposely is a multi-channel commerce platform. That's a big word. And so it is a community which we normally sort of label as omni-channel. So there are parts of it online, there are parts of it offline. And so, but it is dedicated to purpose-driven products. Mm-hmm. So you may have heard the term, digital nomads, digitally born products, meaning products that are born in digital era. They only know digital. And it's kind of like that for purpose-driven products. They're intertwined in the mission, in their vision. These creators want to make an impact from day one. They want to make a difference in the environment, in the society, in the economy. So we're talking about things, for example, like clean energy, like climate change. We're talking about things like ocean energy or ocean protection, wildlife protection, women empowerment, poverty. And there are a list of, noteworthy causes, as we would call them, that we all as a world were heading towards healing. I love this this documentary by David. It's David Otterman, I think his name is, if I'm not mistaken. But he does this. It's called Our Planet. It's very popular on Netflix. I spend a lot of my time watching that. I love the guy. He's got a beautiful, way of just talking about the world. And he realized that our world, if we don't change the way we live, if we don't begin to ask ourselves and do that introspection on a daily basis, will be destroyed in the future. So we have to do something about it. Our environment is getting destroyed, and or society, etc. So Purposely really wants to work with any brand that this is a physical product now, that you're making a physical product as a creator, but you have inside your vision, your mission, want to make a difference, want to make an impact. So it's impact, it's purpose over profit. And so we basically, for invitation, you come into our community. We help you to showcase your products. We help you to get exposure for your product through our distribution channels, which is we've got an online marketplace ourselves, and the online marketplace essentially just displays you as a creator, showcase your work, tell your story. We actually call it telling your story and showing your story doing, because there's now such a thing as story doing, which is the next level up of storytelling.
Do you see the pearls that we pick up in this show?
Exactly.
There's at least two, right? Sell your business before you tell anybody that your spouse died. And number two, story. I love it. Story doing.
So story doing, and on purpose, we we're hoping to capture stories of the creators, because this is your idea, this is your purpose, this is what you want to do to change the world, and we all have to chip in at some point to do that. And so we will help to showcase those products for you, showcase you and your business on our platform. And we also have a VIP box. So a VIP box is essentially for the little tribe that comes from what we call a conscious consumption space. So as a conscious consumer who would be interested in that kind of product that is purpose driven, the idea is that there is a small tribe of people who'd be interested in discovering what is out there in our world. And so we do the traveling, we do the scouting, we go to Brazil, we go to Asia, we go all over the world, and we'll bring these to you in a box every month and introduce you to purpose, introduce you to people who are making a difference, a real difference in their own world. And so whether that's locally or internationally, we believe that we have the ability to make an impact globally. And so that's our focus. And the final channel that we use is this is sort of the offline space, which is the pop-up, which we call it a pop-up shop network. And pre-COVID, we did test this, and we realized that this actually does work, because we go into communities, we invite folks to come on down, physically connect with the brands, physically meet the creators if they're there, hear their stories, see their story in motion, and engage. And that spurs, we have their samples, their sampling, you have the ability to purchase products. And there's something about making a purchase with a difference in mind. There's something about spending your dollar and knowing that this is actually going to provide at least one lunch for the daughter of a farmer who works on a coffee farm, who has to then work on these coffee beans to then process it, fair trade it, etc., fair wage, get it to your table. You enjoy the best part. You enjoy the best part, which is, do you want a coffee? Let's go brew a coffee in the morning. But as you're spending your money here, you're realizing we want you to remember and reminisce on the fact that what you do with spending on that coffee, it impacts, whether it's $5 lunches for a little girl somewhere out there who goes to school every day, doesn't miss a day, because if she misses a day, it becomes a challenge for her. And so that's kind of the impact that we want to create. But Purposely is a big beast. And so the idea, is to do that pop-up shop. So we introduce real time in physical, in person, and we can't do much of it now, but we still have it as part of our plan, to introduce these products to you and allow you to meet these folks. And so we have something though for nonprofits, because nonprofits, we consider them as champions, and they on a daily basis advocate for a lot of the things that we're talking about now. They want change and they want to make a difference. And so
Cherokee Business RadioX was a nonprofit in February.
Oh, awesome.
No, we didn't make a profit in February. I don't think that's what you meant, though.
well, yeah,
that's not what you're talking about.
That's not what I'm talking about. But I suppose it's not for profit. So you cannot make a profit on a given month, but that doesn't make you a nonprofit. But it's a not-for-profit charity organization, I suppose. And one of the things that you'll see in the next couple of decades is that every company is going to now want to integrate this philanthropic component in their business model. And we see what some of the bigger guys are doing, that they're on purpose dedicating all of their wealth, or more than half of it, to give it away to charity. And it's like, oh, wow, you spent all this time making all this money and then you're going to give it back. And it's not a bad idea either. But the little guys like us, we can do the same thing, and we can practice those sort of things. And so for nonprofit, we have what we call a cause wall. And the cause wall showcases who you are as a nonprofit, what you have been working on, and how we can sort of visualize your story as a nonprofit, the impact that you've been making.
Oh, I love it.
So if you're in Cherokee County and you're helping women, empowering women, we will visualize that to just show, because people love to see numbers in motion. People love to see data, and we're using data to be able to sort of help to visualize that. So that's really sort of what Purposely is. I mean, there's a lot moving parts to Purposely, and we're still a startup. We're just 20 months old. but what we're building is amazing, and I love it.
Well, it's certainly an inspiring story and clearly noble work. I will share with you from my perspective one tremendous value in the infrastructure that you continue to create. My wife and I really appreciate and from time to time will take great pride in buying that fair trade coffee or anything along those lines. And it's kind of like, I treat it a lot like my gym life, right? Like I'll go work out for a couple of weeks diligently and then I don't for a couple of months. But with this, instead of like swinging in and swinging out of that world, I think with infrastructure like this, it may help more people like me and Holly not just become engaged, but stay engaged. Are you seeing some of that happen?
No, absolutely. I mean, there are millions and millions of products that you can find today online. I mean, the world's not short of products or ideas. Right. It happens every single day. But there are very few, whether platforms or online communities, that fosters impact and purpose. I mean, right. This is our DNA. Like we gave birth to a purpose-driven infrastructure and environment that we want to be able to build a community. So naturally, I believe that we're all going to live our lives every day naturally seeking for that impact. Like, what can I do to make a difference? I mean, and the information is so widespread that everybody knows now that, flood in Germany happened for the first time in this year, killing a couple scores of people, I think. Fire burning 300,000 acres in the West. Like we hear these stories, right? We just saw what happened with Hurricane Ida. Oh, yeah. People coming on the air saying, I've been here for 20 years and it never happened. I've never seen this. So there's so many extreme stuff that we're seeing happening. And you ask, well, why is this happening? The truth is that it's the effect of things that we've done. It's a cause and effect kind of situation. So we're seeing where people are asking themselves internally, what can we do? What can I do to make a difference? And we're saying, well, what you eat, what you consume, what you wear, let's start asking about the impact that they're making, because I think that's where it actually starts. And we can make this space a better place for you and for me by starting with me, I wonder,
would you ever get to the point where maybe my product could be purposely certified or something? Like get the stamp.
Oh, absolutely.
Get the purple P stamp or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a beautiful idea. We're basically, again, we're building a community. Yeah. So we want to be able to recognize those people, right? I mean, we think it should be a way of life, and we think it will be a way of life, right? And you see what happens today is that there are over 6 to 7% of consumers already asking their POS, like what's this going to do for my environment?
See, that's my kid and her boyfriend. They are 24/7. That's how they are. And Holly and I are that way when we hang out with them, right? And then we drop off. But there is that tribe. Matt and Kelly, that's them. I guarantee you.
Yeah. And that's the life. And you can expect in the next 15, 20 years, this is just going to be a normal way of life. It's just what we're going to do. And so this is something that we want to make it easy for people who are, because we call these guys conscious consumers. They're consciously thinking about these different things and these different components, these impact. And we realized that it's not all about, just making money or spending money. It's about like, what good can it do if I let it go? Because they always say money is a currency, right? And a currency is constantly moving. And if we can get it to move in certain places to make certain impact, it will make you feel a lot much better. It make your life feel like you're living on purpose, because we all are here for a reason. We all are here for a season. We all are here for a purpose, right? And that's really what we're trying to build in what we're doing.
Wow. Yes, that is inspiring. We're going to continue to follow your story, man. Please don't be a stranger. You got to come back. You got to come back and talk about MI Group.
Oh yeah.
And I understand you have your own show. Is it centered around the Purpusly work or the MI Group work, or is it a little bit of overlap?
Not so. As a serial entrepreneur, so MI Group is pretty much sort of an umbrella organization that does a lot of other things across software and and digital marketing. We're out there in South America, in Colombia. We got a Spanish-speaking team out there, and we're also out in the Caribbean. We're also out in India because we have a team out there as well, and we've got some guys out in Sweden, in Europe. Or we have a podcast, but the podcast is really about technology tools to really help small business to grow. Because we work on a daily basis with non-tech savvy entrepreneurs. They would say,
imagine where you might find some of those.
Yeah,
maybe in this room.
It's like probably present day farmers. They have a farm, but they've never been in the farm. But the farm reaps and it does all kinds of stuff for them. And so in today's world, there are lots of non-tech savvy entrepreneurs who are just doing business and they don't want to get their hands dirty in the weeds of tech and in the weeds of digital stuff.
Right.
And so we do that for them. So our podcast is really helping those who want to be able to do certain things themselves whenever they can, to identify tools and things that they can use to grow quickly. And if they knew that it existed and were willing to explore and try. See, our world is what it is today because of our willingness to discover.
Amen.
And our willingness, they always say, open-mindedness is one of the greatest gifts that we can actually have to mankind. And so, Radio X, Business RadioX, it really was an idea. But imagine if that idea was not persisted, if it was not pursued, if it was not open to being discovered, we wouldn't be here today. And there's so many other examples. And so we on that podcast talk a lot about different tools that can help. And some of them I've never even heard of some of them myself, and I've been in the space, but it's always sort of, always a learner and not a, know-it-all. So,
all right. So when you come back, and you are going to come back, we're going to talk about that show. We're going to talk about MI Group. We'll probably get an update on Purpusly. And it just dawned on me, with your technology knowledge, couldn't we do like a joint show where we're broadcasting and publishing to your tribe? We're broadcasting and publishing to our. So we got some fun stuff to talk about.
That. Absolutely.
In the meantime, though, let's leave folks with some coordinates, both how they can access this show. I think it'll be incredibly valuable. I know I want to go listen, and also how to connect and learn more about MI Group, Purposely, whatever you think is appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. These days people go online and search for my name, Ricardo Berris, and a ton of different things will show up. I mean, it's not a lot, but that's kind of also where you can, or how you can kind of see my stuff. But for Purposely, you can go to purposely.com, purpusly.com. And it's kind of the entryway to the environment. If you'd like to reach out to me personally, you can just email me at Ricardo. So it's common spelling. Some people put H in the Ricardo. So we're just saying no H. It's RICARDO at Purpusly, PURPUSLY.com. And my podcast is called More. So it's more. It's a big yellow more. Yellow background with more on there, I think, and it's on Spotify. It's on anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can search for my name, or you could search for Get More, which is that big MORE, and you'll be able to find me there.
Well, I am looking forward to more from everyone in this room. We will continue to follow all three stories. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, everyone. What a marvelous way to invest a Tuesday morning.
I love it. And thank you. Thank you, Stone. You're doing a beautiful work. Thank you for all of what you do to the community and for the community. I think this is purposeful, and you are certainly on a mission to change the world through what you do. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for saying so. All right, this is Stone Payton for everyone here at the Business RadioX family, saying we'll see you next time on Cherokee Business Radio.